My name is Alba Garcia. I am a professional doll maker, filmmaker. I wanted to make creatures. I wanted to think like Jim Henson because since I was a little girl, I was very drawn to the designs when they make the Dark Crystal, the Muppets and all these beautiful characters. And the important part of all my dolls was their names and their stories. Making miniature expressions, making miniature sets. The same thing with the stop motion, but in a doll, you can make a whole story with the elements, with a book. It can be a skull that you're creating for this character. This can be a botanist, or it can be a cartographer, or it can be an adventurer creature. There's a guild for Doll Makers Guild. There's an international one. And I'm a member of it, and usually when they see talent and they want to promote it, they gave me, the actual guild gave me the title of Master Doll Maker. For me, when I received that letter, that was very important because you are being recognized by other fellow doll makers all over the world. And every time I go to a convention, a doll maker from Austria, I know your work and I love it. I think that's the biggest recognition. Usually my first step is I go to the fashion district and I like to see ribbons and I like to see textures, leathers and things like that, and that gives me a sense of this is what I'm gonna do with this character. And then I put them together in, okay, this color scheme look amazing, and that gives me an idea for a doll. I start creating an armature, and then I start covering with super sculpting. From the beginning to the end, you know, if you finish the whole doll with the feet and the hands, it will take you about 4 days. With stop motion, you have to create a story throughout different scenes, different frames, and different the storyline. I created the Happy Prince as part of my final thesis. I read the story, I loved it, I broke it down. My storyboards were about 150 panels. The main theme of this story was one's sacrifice, and this is an element that I really identified with when I'm creating a film. I used recycled materials mainly. Reusable garbage that I found in the streets of New York City, and the whole process was a whole year and a half. It was hard work and it was very worth it, and I was invited for a Student Academy Award. Also, it won other awards, the Rio Award and others. A couple of months back, one of my students passed away. She is a twin. You know, I taught them when they were about in 7th grade, and I was teaching them animation at that moment. And I saw a movie in my head about this twin sister. She loved the twin sister, and she decides she's an inventor, and in the future. So she decides to make a portal. At the same time, we have another, in the other part of the universe, another twin that only uses alchemy. She draws an alchemist portal on the wall. The whole story goes there. They're trying to figure out how they're gonna pass that portal to be together. While I am reading the story and the characters, I have to think what kind of character I'm gonna build. If it's gonna be a chubby character, if it's gonna be a skinny character, an older character. So that process works while you're reading the script, the motive and the intention. Then when I have the idea, I design a mock-up of what I want to do and how I'm gonna break it down in pieces. This is for a ball-jointed doll. And what I usually do, I take a metal tool. I have a flame here, and I proceed to heat my tool, and then I continue smoothing
my doll. To make the joint, for example, you make these holes, you position everything, and then when you make the other joint, you have to make it fit and it have to move inside the socket. After all that, I usually make the faces with this clay, sculpty clay. I made a silicone mold. For example, this is a mold for the hand, and I cast it in resin. And then I have to clean it, sand it, so it looks that smooth. After this, then we proceed to put the whole doll together. And then you have a magnet here, a magnet over here. Also, you put the eyes inside, and you can paint it and everything. I'm gonna make a mold, a hard mold. After that, we're gonna make an armature that fits that doll, and it's gonna be floating in the actual mold. At the end of the whole process, the doll, this beautiful body, is gonna be all silicone with a beautiful armature inside, and it's gonna move as a stop motion character. With the mechanism for the head, we're gonna have replacement heads, which is that's the beauty of the new technique that we're gonna use. Then right after this, we have to design the hair. I have Tibetan lamb hair, and sometimes I use human hair. To make the two dolls I want for this film, it's gonna take me probably about three months. First of all, I go and I do a lot of reference research on what's the style I want to get, if it's romantic style or if it's adventure style. I have to get the perfect fabric, stiff enough, so when we do the animation, it doesn't move. That's what the important part is the script. After the script, we just have to do the fashion design and then continue with the set design.
I am a scientist. I will describe myself as an artist that adores science, because I cannot make anything if I don't know anatomy. Animal anatomy, human anatomy.
Well, the thing about stop motion or any kind of film or documentaries, we teach people through what we know. I like to make people, I like to put people in a different realm of fantasy, because sometimes reality is a little bit too much to handle. You go to the movies for a reason, to get out of this world. You read a book for a reason, because you want to get immersed in that fantasy world or whatever you like to read. So I think my artwork or filmmaking helps people just look at the world in a different place, in a different way.